as I'm getting my life together, let me do some life updates. Over the past year, since I haven't made a vlog in literally like a year, so in the beginning of 2023, one of my big goals was to be more active on YouTube and to give more like a behind the scenes of my life, everything that I do for marine science and grad school, which is really kind of how like my biggest platform on TikTok is. But then also like show more of my life, which also includes travel, which used to be seen a lot on Melanin and Miles, which is like my travel podcast, and there's a whole Instagram and everything for that too. But I haven't been as active as I would like to be with that either last year. I wanted to show more of that on YouTube too, but I committed for like a month, I swear. Like I did the first like once a week vlog for the whole month of January. And then after that month had passed, I feel like I just completely stopped and was like, this is too much work, gave up. So this year I'm trying not to do that. And I think something that intimidated me a lot was that it felt like I needed to be doing something like super exciting every week for me to be making a video. And that's honestly just not the case for my life. Some weeks are really exciting. Other weeks I'm literally just at home doing work from my computer all week. Like it was hard to show and I wasn't sure how to be entertaining. I was too scared of being judged, I feel like, for what I would have been posting. It would have been very different, not my usual MO like I do on TikTok, etc. But today, this year, that is changing. I am really trying to be more active and consistent. Consistency is a huge thing on my vision board for this year. Yeah, let's try this again. So that's how 2023 started, and everything just kind of spiraled from there. Life got pretty busy. I did a bunch of field work, came back home, started to like store and analyze those samples. I had become a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Spring 23, I came out. I had also gone to the very first Latin American and Caribbean Fisheries Congress meeting in May, which was really cool. Since it was the first one that they had, it seems like a very eye-opening and brand new experience for a lot of people, which is great. And then it was also giving me the opportunity to present my work that I normally do to a crowd that cares, I would say, a bit more about the research. I work on Nassau grouper, which is found throughout the tropics, the Caribbean, Latin America, etc. And so being able to present that work to communities that actually care a lot about grouper was really cool. And then came back home for a little bit, and it was my boyfriend's birthday in May. And so we did a trip for his birthday to Philadelphia, which isn't far from like where I grew up. And so we just stayed with my friend in Philly, and we did like a day trip to New York while we were out there. So that was really exciting. And then I came back and finally went to present that old work at ASLO in June. And that meeting was based in Palma de Mallorca, Spain, which was really cool. It's one of like the Balearic Islands of Spain. And great experience, really cool networking. I met one of my like dream scientists, fisheries scientist, Daniel Pauly. He's really cool, Black man from Canada that I think he's from Vancouver, or he currently lives in Vancouver, that had done a lot of really cool like fisheries work. And then I had flown all the way out to Spain through my research or for this conference. I was not just coming right back home afterwards. For this conference, it was funded, obviously, and so I just asked them to do a return flight to a completely different destination. I wanted to do a place I knew like I probably couldn't afford to go to on my own, so I would need assistance to go. And so I just asked to return to Dubai, and my friend who has a job and real money came and met me there, and we had such a great time. So my flight got covered through the conference funding, the travel funding through that conference, which was great. And then a lot of other costs that I had accrued was covered through like travel points and credit card points. If you haven't heard of travel hacking or using credit card points to help pay for trips and things like that, I can make another video on that. That's something I do a lot, and but really Melanin and Miles like kind of spurred from was doing all this travel and getting all these travel points from working a job that has so much travel involved. So I was able to accumulate so many points just from that. And then I started looking into different credit cards for different travel companies and whatnot, and started getting points from that. And so that has made me able to travel so much more than what I already do. Anyway, got to Dubai, and like literally our hotel and like a lot of other things we were able to pay for with a lot of points. And then from Dubai, basically I could not afford to fly home from Dubai to fly straight home from Dubai. And it was actually a lot cheaper to fly to France because I had Delta and Air France are like partner airlines, and I had a bunch of Delta points. And so I was able to get from Dubai to France for free because I had those points. And then me and my friend were like, well, we're in France, we might as well stay a little bit. And so we traveled around France, did like south of France. We did Nice, we went to Monte Carlo, then we went back up to Paris for a couple days, and then the flight one way from Paris to Portland was $400 or something like that, like something really cheap, like $450. And so I could afford to do that. The other flight was like $1,000 something. I was like, this is a bit too much. So yeah, that was my like literally entire June. I got to see all those places, which was so cool. In July, it was the National Convention for Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and this was really exciting for me because it was my first one ever, and it was such a cool experience. I'm so happy I got to go and do it. This is kind of when I started using a bit more of my personal money to do things. And like very rarely do I usually pay to go to conferences and stuff like that, but usually for Delta I do end up paying. And so this is one of those things that I will pay for, but it's so worth it. We had so many different experiences there. Literally one of the speakers was Kamala Harris. Like, it was a phenomenal experience. I'm so happy I got to go and do it, and spend more time with a lot of my Alliance sisters and chapter members, and just, yeah, great experience. Loved it so much. And then straight from there, so the convention was in Indianapolis, Indiana. And then literally like a week later, I had a family reunion in Ohio, which is super close to Indianapolis. And so it wasn't worth flying all the way back to Portland to get straight back to the Midwest for my family reunion. So I was like, what can I do to distract myself for like this week in between? And so I ended up taking like a bus from Indianapolis down to Louisville, Kentucky, and got to do like just like a few different things down there. I saved a lot of money on the bus because it was like a $15 ticket, and then I used points to stay. I had some Marriott points that I could use at the Loft Hotel down there, and stay down there for that weekend. And then straight from there, I took another bus or a train. I can't remember. I took something then to get to Nashville, Tennessee. And in Nashville, I spent a few days there, went to a concert, and it was just like a really great like solo travel experience. Something about me, if you don't already know, I love to solo travel. Like, I love to spend that time. It's very therapeutic for me, just being by myself, trying to figure out what I want out of life. What do I want to do next? Only focusing on me and my needs, because a lot of the other times I'm not doing that. And so it was a really great experience getting to do all of that. And then straight from Nashville, I flew a one-way flight to Pittsburgh, and my parents met me in Pittsburgh and drove me straight to the family reunion. And the reason I went to Nashville is because the flight to Pittsburgh was so cheap. It was literally like $40, which is crazy. I mean, I wasn't flying nothing fancy. I was flying like Allegiant or something like that, but $40, I'll take it. So that's how that ended up happening. Like, I'm originally from like the most southeast part of Pennsylvania, and so my parents were driving west to get to Ohio. They stopped in Pittsburgh, picked me up at the airport, and then we drove all the way the rest of the way to Ohio, which took about like another hour. Had a great time at the family reunion, got to see so many cousins and family members. My grandma, who I haven't seen in years, probably since COVID started, and she was 99 at the reunion. This year she's turning 100, and I'm so excited to go back to Ohio this year for her 100th birthday party, because baby, who's turning 100 nowadays? Like, that's crazy. We love to see it. And then what else happened? Oh, so after the reunion, I ended up driving with my aunt back to, okay, so long story. I wasn't originally supposed to be doing this. Originally, I was just going to take a bus back to Indy and then get my return flight from Indy back to Portland. But I actually ended up driving my aunt back to her hometown in Ohio, which was like Western Ohio. And then from there, got a bus to Indy, and from there, caught my flight back to Portland. Very hectic time. And then like the rest of July, I just rested, got back to doing a little bit more work for school, dealing with more samples, trying to figure out stuff for my master's project, which has been a little bit frustrating for me, but yeah, working on that. And then let's see, and then in August, it was my best friend Joy, the co-host of Melanie Miles. It was her birthday, and we went to Colombia for her birthday. I had booked this flight a long time ago. Basically, I had set up flight deals through this website called Pomelo Travel. They always send you like different like deals to different places for super cheap prices, and I had found a really good deal to get to Colombia. It cost like $200 maybe. We did a little weekend trip. It was a long weekend. It was like a 5-day trip, 4 or 5 days. And it was so much fun. I had never been to Cartagena. We did so much. Like we went to Palenque, which was like the first freed slave town in like this region of the world. And that was just really cool to visit. We did like a boat party tour. We did all these different things. Great experience. I would definitely go back to Cartagena. Afro-Latino community in Cartagena is like huge, and it was just so beautiful to see. And it was, yeah, great place to go. Then what else did we do? Got back home, rested again for like the rest of that time. And then in September, it was my other friend's birthday, Natalia. She came out to the Pacific Northwest because, oh, actually, pause. Before Natalia's birthday, Drake came to Seattle. So of course, my boyfriend, he loves Seattle, or he loves Drake. He likes Seattle too, but he loves Drake, and like literally his #1 artist for years. So we, of course, had to drive up to Seattle, stay there the weekend, saw Drake in concert. Great experience. He had so much fun. I know his concerts haven't been like the best in a bunch of cities, but the Seattle one, actually, the first Seattle one, apparently the second one was not good, but the one I went to, which is like Friday night, that shit was lit. It was amazing. I had a great time. It was lit. Anyway, so that was an exciting highlight. Then came back to Portland, rested, and then Natalia came in, and for her birthday, she wanted to see the Pacific Northwest because she had never been. She had never been to Canada, she'd never seen Seattle, she'd never been to Portland. And so I was like, girl, I got you, hop in, we're gonna do a full tour. And so literally she flew into Seattle, I met her there, and we did a bunch of things like the Space Needle, the Pike's Place Market, all the touristy things, for real. And Beyonce was performing that week too, on her birthday, might I add. So that was like the best birthday present for her. And we saw Beyonce in concert. And then straight from there, we took a train up to, actually no, we took a bus up to Vancouver. And while in Vancouver, we just ate at a bunch of restaurants, got some nice scenery, walked around Granville a little bit. It was a cute little like day and a half type trip before taking the Amtrak Cascades back down to Portland. If you haven't done that, that's a really cool train ride. The Amtrak Cascades on like the Pacific Coast Highway. So it's a really beautiful view. If you haven't done that, it's really cool. And then once we got to Portland, we did a bunch of stuff that honestly to me, it wasn't really that exciting because I live here, but to her, it was really cool. We did a bunch of wineries. We went to a bunch of different coffee shops, breweries, like the typical things Portland are known for. Voodoo Donuts, the Portland is weird sign, Keep Portland weird sign, like all that type of jazz. And then she went home. I'm exhausted by the end of this, so I took another break before going to the No Madness Fest, which was it's like a conference essentially for travelers. and it's really big for travelers of color. And they had a bunch of really cool sessions on travel branding and growing a travel business and all of these types of isms of travel. Lots of different like cool sessions. It was my first time ever attending anything like that. Most of the conferences I go to are normally like very sciencey, and this is probably like the first where I felt like I was almost out of my element going, but then also felt like I really was in my element at the same time, because travel for me has always been a really fun side thing, a really fun thing to do, a really cool thing. But then seeing all of these like amazing women and men doing travel as well, but not calling it a side thing, they do it as like their full-time job. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And so it really inspired me to do a lot more and bigger things with the type of traveling I've been doing, to share more of it, to talk more about it, actually be posting the things that I record, because I have so much footage that I've never even like shared with the world. And so I think I really need to start doing that. So yeah, that was a really cool festival, and I would love to go again next year if I can get money. The only reason I was able to go this year is because I won their giveaway. If I don't have that giveaway, I don't know. It depends on where it is. Like this year it was in Louisville, Kentucky. Coming from Portland, that would have been really expensive. Not gonna lie, that would have been a pretty high flight and also probably a decently priced hotel. So depending on the city of it, if it's closer to the West Coast, I might be able to do it out of my own pocket. If not on the West Coast, then we gonna have to enter another giveaway or something. We'll figure it out. And then the whole month of October, no travel. I needed a break because there was so much grad school work I needed to do that I was falling behind on. I had met with a few of my committee members. I had done a whole bunch of stuff with my PI, really organizing a lot of things I need to get organized, because it was almost the end of the year at that point, and field work is in January. So I had to get it together. And then November, Halloween had happened, which was great. Oh, and then Gulf and Caribbean Fisheries Institute meeting was the first week of November. And I went to that. It was in the Bahamas. It was really cool. Yeah, very similar to like Latin American and Caribbean Fisheries Congress, except this meeting has been around for like 76 years. So it wasn't the first. But so it was a little bit more like better put together, I would say. And it was just had like the same impact though, as speaking to people that really care about grouper and had done a lot of different grouper work and types of things, and getting to network with other scientists that have worked in similar areas as me, and even potentially getting added to work on a publication that is supposed to be coming out soon. So that like a lot of really cool things have been happening in that sense. Speaking of publications, that's something else that I accomplished last year. It got published in November, maybe no, December, but it was basically it was like Black Women in Ocean Science, Barriers to Move Forward, I think was the title, something like that, I don't know. But a paper I had written with several other Black women scientists had gotten published, which was really exciting for me. So I'll shout that out somewhere around here. That was exciting. And then that next week, this was completely unintentional, but the surf conference, which I forget what surf stands for, I'll put it somewhere on the screen once I figure that out. But the surf conference was happening. People from Black and Marine Science had reached out like, hey, are you gonna be in Portland this week? And I'm like, yeah, I just got back. And so I get back, I see a lot of the BIMS members and staff there. I help out at the table, and it was really cool getting to see people I haven't seen in a minute and interact with everybody I haven't seen in a while through BIMS. November was my birthday, so I came back home, chilled for a bit before I literally threw myself a birthday party, and I was so scared to do this. I asked my friend, like my really good friend, I was like, do you think if I throw myself this party, will people show up? And she was like, girl, why are you even worried? It'll be fine. And I wanted to do like, basically I needed a group reservation. I wanted to do a group reservation because that was like the cheapest way to do it. But the only way to get the deal is if you had at least 10 people show up. And I was like really stressed on getting 10 people to come. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. We're gonna try it, just hope for the best. If they don't come, I'll just have to pay the difference, fuck it. and it actually ended up working out completely fine. I had 23 people come, so like my friend was completely right. I was stressing for no fucking reason, but it's okay. He had over 20 people there, and we were on a dinner cruise, and that was just a really fun weekend for me. That was like the kickoff to my birthday weekend, and that was like I would say like the big party. We went out afterwards at a bar here in Portland, and then my boyfriend kind of treated me the rest of the weekend. That Saturday, he like signed me up for a full body massage and this like cute little like mimosa relaxation chill thing that I did downtown. And then we went to like this really nice Italian dinner that evening. I love Italian food, so that was like really exciting for me. Let's see, Sunday, we went to the hip hop winery here in Portland. It's the first like black owned hip hop winery out here in the Pacific Northwest, really. And that was actually a really cool experience too. So much fun. And then we had like a Friendsgiving with a lot of my line sisters, which was a really fun thing to go to. All the food was delicious. We had a great time. Friendsgiving, because this is literally the week before Thanksgiving. And we also went to, me and my boyfriend, we went to Hopscotch Portland, which is like this cool like interactive museum type thing in Portland, which was another really fun thing to do. Also, there are some other things I forgot to mention. In January, the BWEAMS meeting had happened, Black Women in Ecology, Evolution, and Marine Science. That was the very first BWEAMS meeting in person, and that was a phenomenal experience. Got to see so many women I've never even met before in my life in this field, which is crazy because it's not that many of us out there, but apparently it really is that many of us out there, and we just been hidden, I guess. And so that was a really cool experience. I'll post videos about that, and that's actually when I was vlogging, so there are like previous vlogs about that experience on my page. And then I also went to go see my mom in Cancun for her birthday at the end of January, which was fun. Okay, now fast forward back to BIM stuff. Did some work before BIMS week. BIMS week had happened on like the last week of November / first week of December, and that was in Norfolk, Virginia. Really cool conference, really cool meeting. Unfortunately, I didn't get to experience it like anybody else would, like as a pool member attending, as a person just regular. I was more so on the like working side of it, helping with a lot of the technology, making sure things are flowing. And so that was a good professional development experience, I would say. I learned a lot of things about myself in a contracting space, and about myself and about others, and like, you know, getting experience from other people on the team and just throughout BIMS, and just trying to figure out what do I really want for my life and how do I want to start building that life for myself. And so that was just a really cool meeting to go to, and it seems like so many people enjoyed it and just thought it was honestly one of the best meetings they had been to, considering you don't usually go to meetings like this where there are all people that look like you, doing things like you do, etc. So that was just a really exciting thing to be a part of. And then came home for a little bit longer. And throughout this whole like time, probably like September to now, I had been looking to move to Portland. At first I was living in Oregon State because of school, obviously, but it's been a few years that I've been there, and I'm not doing as much lab work. I still have lab work, but not as much, and it just didn't feel like Corvallis was the place for me anymore. My boyfriend, my friends, a lot of people I love and care about are in Portland, and that's where I would be spending most of my weekends at anyways. Like, I was barely in Corvallis at all last year. I just kept driving back to Portland when I came back to Oregon. So I had been looking to move to Portland, and in December I had finally found a place that both me and my boyfriend were happy with to move into. And this is a really big deal for me because I never lived with a significant other before. I never lived with my boyfriend before, or a boyfriend before. I've had roommates, don't get me wrong, both male and female. I've had a whole bunch of cohabitating situations, but living with like literally my person, that is just a brand new thing to me. So this is like a really exciting step. And so we finally found a place and kind of started that move-in process. in December, but this is also the busiest time of year, probably the worst time of all to be moving, because one, I had another trip planned to Vegas. Basically, it was like a mom's trip. It was my friend and her mom, me and my mom. We were all going to meet in Vegas, mainly because, well, my friend was doing like one of those timeshare things, and basically she got like the free weekend trip there, like the free hotel there, because of going to like timeshare talk or whatever. And my mom already has a timeshare there, and so she needed to use her points before the points ended. So literally the stay in Vegas was free for everyone. We just had to fly there, and from Portland, that flight was actually, let me find the receipt, it was like 60 or 70 bucks, maybe 80, I don't know. And so I was like, fuck it, we going to Vegas for the weekend. But that had been planned long before I knew I was gonna be doing all this other shit. So I had that Vegas trip. I had gotten sick like right after Vegas. So that like took me out from doing anything productive. And then it was Christmas. Yeah, me and my boyfriend flew back home to Pennsylvania for Christmas to spend Christmas with my family. It was great. We went to church, obviously, saw a bunch of family members and friends that I haven't seen in literally years since I moved out here to Oregon. Just great Christmas celebration. And then my boyfriend flew home back to Portland because he had to go to work. And then I flew to Cancun again with my parents because we were celebrating Christmas really there in Cancun. And we had a great week there. Got to just chill, relax. I did a bunch of water activities, obviously. Was just being a nerd on the beach half the time. But great experience. We stayed in an all-inclusive resort, which I usually don't do. But honestly, that was a great decision for going with my parents because they are hard to please at times. And they can be pretty particular about how they like things and want things. And so just doing something simple like an all-inclusive resort just made it less stressful, no pain on my end. So happy we did that. And then finally got back home after that and had to like literally like in between all those different trips and things, I have been doing like a little bit of moving and such, and everything officially had eventually gotten into this place, but it was just like a hassle. And so now I'm in the process of unpacking, and that was literally all I was doing last weekend for New Year's weekend. A lot of things are unpacked. However, my boyfriend still needs to officially move in. His lease ends in the middle of January, and so he won't be officially moving in until the 15th, mainly because he has roommates, and so he can't just take all the furniture out until they are gone. So like we're waiting for basically his roommates to leave, and then we'll move all of like the furniture in here. And then we also still need to like buy other furniture and stuff, but it's just really exciting being in this space with him and getting to, you know, grow and live life together and do all these things together. Yeah, just me and my little love bird mode right now. But yeah, that's really exciting. So yeah, those are pretty much all of the life updates over the past year of 2023 because I hadn't been vlogging.